not only are you not doing well because you're not doing well, but you're not doing well because you've actually really spent a lot of work figuring out how to not do well. This is like creative effort on your part. And if you read about truly malevolent people, and you could start with the Columbine killers because they left some very interesting diaries behind, so I would recommend them. There's plenty of serial killers you could read about, and the people who've really gone out and done dark things, and I've read more than my fair share of that sort of thing and understand it quite well. If you really want to have your countenance fall and be wroth, 10 years of brooding on your own catastrophe, sort of alone and letting your fantasies take shape and egging them on and allowing them to flourish and, let's say, take possession of you, because that's exactly the right way to think about it. That'll get you somewhere like this. And there are more people who are like that than you think, and you're more like that than you think. Well, so Cain, he's obviously not very happy about this whole answer, obviously, because the last thing you want to hear if your life is turned into a catastrophe and you take God to task for creating a universe where that sort of thing was allowed, is that it's your own damn fault and you should straighten up and fly right, so to speak, and you shouldn't be complaining about the nature of being. But that is the answer he gets. And so then what happens? Well, we have to infer that if Cain was angry before, that he's a lot more angry now. And of course, that's exactly what the story reveals. And Cain talked with Abel, his brother. And it came to pass when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel, his brother, and slew him. I'm going to read you something else now. This is foreshadowing again. This is from the same chapter, by the way. Do what is meaningful, not what is expedient. Jesus was led into the wilderness, according to the story, to be tempted by the devil, Matthew 4:1, prior to his crucifixion. This is the story of Cain, restated abstractly. Cain is far from happy, as we have seen. He's working hard, or so he thinks, but God is not pleased. Meanwhile, Abel is dancing away in the daisies. His crops flourish, women love him. Worst of all, he's a pretty good guy. Everyone knows it. He deserves his good fortune. All the more reason to hate him. I used to joke when I used to teach at Harvard, and now and then my wife would have some of the undergraduates over. We used to joke afterwards, because some of them were, many of them were very remarkable kids, you know, like they were super smart, they were athletic, or they had some dramatic ability, or they were musicians, or they'd done some spectacular charitable work. Because you basically, to get accepted into Harvard, you had to be top of your damn school, and then you had to have at least 2 other outstanding things going for you, you know. And what was so annoying about most of these kids, this was our joke, was you really both liked them and respected them. It's like, my joke was, you'd think they would have had the good graces to be like dislikable sons of bitches, at least with all those other great things going for them. They had to add like respectability and likability to it as well. So you thought, well, you know, it really couldn't have happened to a better person. It's like, good God. Well, that's Abel's situation, you know. It's like, and you know, the funny thing too is that that's an ideal. That's the ideal, right? Because an ideal person, let's say, would be someone who you would want to be like, and someone who is operating in the world like you would want to operate, and someone whom fortune was smiling on, and someone who is making the right sacrifices. It's really what you would want to be. And so Cain kills that. Right, so it's a psychological story too. And you see this in the cynicism that people have about people who have done well in the world. They're always looking for some reason why they've done well. They must be crooked, or they must be conniving, or they must be arrogant, or they must be psychopathic, and of course all of those things exist. But it's a very bad trick to play on yourself to make the proposition that the person in the world who represents your own ideal is that ideal because of despicable reasons. Because what you do is train yourself that the ideal that you should pursue can only exist if it's motivated by despicable reasons. And then what? Not only is Abel, your brother, dead as your brother in the field in reality, but you've also slaughtered your own ideal. Well, then what the hell are you going to work for? How are you going to live then?